Hey YouTube, so I've got my first Formula 1 update for you. It's really exciting. So the online assessments went live last night. I was really excited, so I ended up doing it all last night. But there was some really interesting stuff on there, obviously prepping us all ready for the assessments on the track. They did say some of the stuff in the online assessment is going to be looked at track, so it was really nice to see an insight of the sort of stuff they'll be looking for and where their attention will be. I just thought I'd go through some of the online assessment bits with you, just the stuff that I'll be looking for and what I'll be focusing on as well. So I will apologise for my notes. I did write them extremely messy, and I'm that OCD that I end up trying to rewrite them all neat, so I'm just in the process of that. But the different sort of sections there was the race meeting format, flag signals, about the GT Cup series, which is obviously what the grand prize is, and then looking into things like the basics. So you've got your vision, your understeer, oversteer, braking and acceleration. So just going to give you a really quick overview on everything there. So number one, race meeting format. So this is really simple. It's just going through what you'd expect when you're attending a race. So obviously you arrive and sign on, you've got your track walks, scrutineering and inspections, you've got your driver's briefing, which I did learn, you get a fine if you don't go to. You've got your grid assembly, also known as parc fermé, which I'm actually going to remember as fermé le bouche means shut your mouth, so it means grid closed. So a little trick for you there. You also then have your free practice, your qualifying, and then your race and your podium. So all quite straightforward stuff. If you watch motorsports, you obviously see that breakdown, especially in like Formula 1, you see the free practice, the qualifying, the actual race. So that was quite nice to see the full breakdown of that and sort of what to expect if you do get through to the races. So number two, flag signals. Won't go through all of them today, but obviously if you watch things like Formula 1, you have an idea of what they are. The best one for me is when you see the blue flag for the car in front, so you know that you're going to overtake them, because it's just, you know, we're all about being first, aren't we? Number three, GT Cup series. They gave us a breakdown of the car, which is a McLaren 570S GT4, which is awesome. So it's got things like the adjustable rear wing. It's a 3.8 litre twin turbo V8, which is absolutely insane, and with sequential gearbox as well. So that would be pretty cool to have a go at that. And then we went on to the basics. So we looked at things like obviously your racing line, which is the quickest way around the track. And then they also looked into vision, so where you should be looking. And I found this the most interesting, because obviously when you're driving a normal car, you are looking everywhere around you. But in a racing track, you obviously need your vision, your main focus of your vision over at the next corner whilst your peripheral's doing what you're doing now. So that looked very difficult. So I'd be really interested to have a go at that and see how I get on. And it shows the difference in sort of the brain processing of what's coming up next. I think also knowing a track as well will help that considerably, because you're not sort of taking that input initially, you already understand what's happening. On to the fundamental basics. So obviously we've got number four, understeer. So this is where your front end doesn't grip properly. So you see it a lot when the front tyres are really cold, or you're going too quick for the corner. So when you steer in, the front end doesn't have that grip and it just sort of carries on. So this is obviously one of the more common things that people tend to experience, but what they said for both, to be fair, both understeer and oversteer, just be patient with the car. Let the car grip up first and don't rush it. So sort of for understeer, you're looking at that slower entrance to get that quicker exit out of the corner. So that was really interesting, as I think that's the thing a lot of cars tend to suffer with most, especially sort of the front wheel drive cars. So number five is oversteer. So this is kind of my favourite one, because when I saw oversteer, I was like, drifting, which would be really fun, but obviously it's preventing oversteer because that will make you quicker. So obviously oversteer is when your back end decides to kick out because it hasn't got enough grip. So again, this can be from too much power, an unbalance in the weight in the car, especially in sort of rear wheel drive cars, it's quite prominent in. So it's just being more delicate around the corners and letting that car grip up first before you're putting that initial throttle on. And again with the braking slowly, so you're not getting that braking oversteer as well. So that was really interesting to sort of watch their techniques on to how to stop it. Number six is acceleration. So again, it's just kind of that smooth power of acceleration, making sure you've got that grip before you put that hard right foot down. Obviously it is waiting for the car to be nice and stable and smooth before you put that acceleration down. If you're midway through a corner and you go for hard acceleration, the car isn't balanced and it's going to either understeer or oversteer. So again, it's having that nice sort of gentle grasp, so it's sort of going up gentle into your smooth bit, and again coming off the throttle gently, just to kind of help keep that car balanced and keep it stable. So it's being very patient with the car and very calm, which is something I think when people first get onto track is very like, oh my god, let's go fast, and that's when things tend to go wrong. And so number seven, last but not least, was braking. So obviously braking on track and braking on a road car is very different. you're meant to do things a lot earlier on the road than you are on a track, and sort of like when you're coming up to a corner, you've got to lift off and slow down really gently so you're not sort of late braking for the person behind you, and it's all to do with the road safety. But on a track, obviously you want to brake as late as possible to get as quick as possible around the track. You don't want to just sort of emergency stop. You're going to unbalance the car and you're going to initiate that oversteer, understeer situation. So obviously, similar to acceleration, you want to put the brakes on sort of fairly hard but sort of gentle to be able to get that initial deceleration point and then let it flow off. So that's also called trail braking. So with braking, you want to be braking the hardest point on the straight. So the car's got all four wheels on the straight, it's nice and balanced, got lots of grip, and it's going to prevent any of that understeer, oversteer situation. These are all really useful tips. It's nice to know these are the sort of things they're going to be looking at and that the instructors are going to be sort of focusing on when we're doing the assessments. So it would be good to get some practice in on them and make sure I am sort of nailing that as much as I can do. Obviously, practice makes perfect, so getting out on track is going to help that massively. At the end of that, there was a little test, so it was just 12 questions, so it was nothing too scary, and there were multiple choice, so we had 1 in 4 chance of getting them right, so, you know, positives. I'm really excited to go on track now, and it's just all becoming quite real. So I hope you enjoyed that little update. Obviously, you may have learned something yourself. I know I certainly did. Please like, follow and subscribe to stay up to date with my journey, and I'll see you soon. Bye!